Hola everyone, it's Teacher Kim from AIA. In today's video, we're going to focus on one word. We will be learning different phrases all with the word come. For example, come over for dinner, or that will come in handy. During the lesson, feel free to pause to practice and/or comment below any questions you might have. Let's begin. So I'm going to introduce the phrases in sections. I'll start by introducing the word come paired with another word. Then I will go over two different phrases that use that exact pairing of words. Ready? All right, let's begin. Come to, come to. Now, there are two phrases with come to. There's the phrase come to a decision. Come to a decision.
Joe helped me come to a decision.
I've come to a decision.
This means to make a choice about what to do. For example, we need to come to a decision about our vacation plans.
Joe helped me come to a decision. Joe helped me come to a decision.
I've come to a decision. I've come to a decision.
Another phrase that uses come to is come to someone's senses.
He'll come to his senses.
Well, Lionel could come to his senses.
When someone comes to their senses, it means they begin to think sensibly. Another example is after talking to him, he finally came to his senses.
He'll come to his senses.
Well, Lionel could come to his senses.
Y si tú quieres educar tu oído 100% gratis, tengo un entrenamiento que me tomó meses crear, que puedes bajar hoy en día 100% gratis. Educa tu oído hoy. Enlace en el primer comentario.
Come down. Come down. There's come down to something.
Everything that we have talked about has come down to this.
It seems to only come down to the money.
This refers to when a situation or outcome is dependent on something else. To use it in a sentence, you could say the success of the project will come down to teamwork.
Everything that we have talked about has come down to this. Everything that we have talked about has come down to this.
It seems to only come down to the money. It seems to only come down to the money.
A phrase that also uses come down is come down on someone.
No one's gonna come down on you.
The city's gonna come down on you.
When someone comes down on someone else, it means they are very negative and critical towards that person. For example, the boss may come down on him for missing the deadline.
No one's gonna come down on you. No one's gonna come down on you.
The city's gonna come down on you. The city's gonna come down on you.
Come along. Come along. Now there's the phrase come along the way.
What challenges will come along the way?
This refers to what might happen during a process or journey. For example, you might hear someone say, "What new adventures will come along the way?"
What challenges will come along the way? What challenges will come along the way?
Another phrase that has come along is come along with someone.
Come along with me, bud.
You can come along with us.
When a person says this, they are inviting someone to join them, a group, or someone else in an activity or journey. To use it in a question, you could say, "Would you like to come along with us to the concert?"
Come along with me, bud. Come along with me, bud.
You can come along with us. You can come along with us.
Come over. Come over. One phrase that uses come over is come over to someone's place.
You should come over to my house.
Why don't you come over to my house?
When someone comes over to someone else's place, they are visiting someone's home or where they live. So if a friend tells you to come over to someone's place, they are inviting you to join them at that person's living space. Let's say you want to invite friends to your place for coffee. You could say, feel free to come over to my place for coffee.
You should come over to my house. You should come over to my house.
Why don't you come over to my house? Why don't you come over to my house?
A phrase that also uses come over is come over for dinner. Come over for dinner.
Would you like to come over for dinner?
Then you better come over for dinner tonight.
This means to visit someone's home for a meal in the evening. This is a very friendly thing to say to someone. For example, why don't you come over for dinner tonight?
Would you like to come over for dinner? Would you like to come over for dinner?
Then you better come over for dinner tonight. Then you better come over for dinner tonight.
Remember to pause to practice, and if you have any questions, make sure to comment them below. Come back. Come back. Now there's the phrase come back home. Come back home.
So come back home.
I decided to come back home.
This means to return to where one lives. For example, I can't wait to come back home after a long trip.
So come back home. So come back home.
I decided to come back home. I decided to come back home.
Another phrase that has come back in it is come back to reality.
Come back to reality.
It's time to come back to reality.
This means to return to how one normally lives or thinks. Let's say your friend started watching several movies about space, and he just won't stop talking about space. You could say, hey dude, it's time to come back to reality. We have work to do, remember?
Come back to reality. Come back to reality.
It's time to come back to reality. It's time to come back to reality.
Come up. Come up. First, there's the phrase come up short. Come up short.
We'll come up short.
To come up short means to fail to meet expectations or goals. So if you're talking about a sports team losing, you could say, despite their efforts, they came up short in the match.
We'll come up short. We'll come up short.
A phrase that also has come up is come up with something.
If we can come up with a new trick.
You come up with anything yet?
To come up with something means to invent, produce, or create something. Another example, you could say, she always comes up with the most creative ideas.
If we can come up with a new trick. If we can come up with a new trick.
You come up with anything yet? You come up with anything yet?
Come in. Come in. Now there's the phrase come in peace.
I come in peace.
They come in peace.
This just means to enter a place or situation calmly. Usually this is said in tense situations and or when people don't know each other, and sometimes this can be said as a joke. Let's say you're meeting your friend's new dog. You could tell the dog, don't worry, I come in peace.
I come in peace. I come in peace.
They come in peace. They come in peace.
Come out. Come out. First, there's the phrase come out on top.
You've always come out on top.
So we can always come out on top.
This just means to be the winner or successful in a competition. For example, you could say, despite the challenges, our team came out on top. If it makes it easier to understand, think about a list in a competition. The winners are at the top. So if you win the competition, you came out on top.
You've always come out on top. You've always come out on top.
So we can always come out on top. So we can always come out on top.
A phrase that also uses come out is come out in the open.
Come out in the open.
And now is the time to come out in the open.
When something comes out in the open, it means something is revealed publicly. For example, you might hear someone say, the truth will eventually come out in the open.
Come out in the open. Come out in the open.
Well, that's a wrap for today's lesson. We've covered different phrases, all with the word come. Remember to practice these phrases and like or share this video. If you have any questions about this lesson or have any ideas on what you would like us to teach next time, leave us a comment below. And of course, if you want to keep learning with us, hit the subscribe button and be sure to turn on notifications. Feel free to look at our other free courses and videos if you want to take your English skills to the next level. All right, thanks for watching, and we hope to see you in the next video. Adios!